So here's where we're at over there. Apparently this switch, for whatever reason, is not disconnecting voltage totally from the other side. So basically, when I have this on, which is normally off, I took the label off just in case I had to change things. That would normally be the batteries. And when I switch it to I took the label off, like I said. This would normally be upright, battery 1, battery 2, or both batteries. Upright, off, no battery, no nothing. Well, if I have it on battery, what was happening was it was still leaking voltage over to the power supply side. And when I had it on power supply, it was still leaking voltage over to the battery side. So therefore, they're kind of connected, which they shouldn't be. And when I put it down to both, it would actually disconnect one side. So I figured, okay, well, you know what, I'll just turn it around and I'll put it both, meaning off. That's one of the reasons why the label's off. So I put the label on off instead of both. But we still have a little leakage going from the main post to number 1 and from the main post to number 2. Now inside it's a simple switch. There's not a big deal in here. I can't see how the hell it's acting up. It's got a brass plate here. It's got a brass plate there and a brass plate here. It has another piece sitting over that that's also brass, that's pushing up with a spring, that has a little upward nipple on each side, so when you turn it, it makes connections. But when you're turning it, what is happening is the nipple that's here, when you turn it, the nipple ends up here, this one ends up there, and that one ends up there. It's not really disconnecting anything where it should be disconnecting. So this switch, the only thing I can think of is the main part of the switch, the brass tabs that are here, are oversized. And it's not allowing clearance. You know what, let me something as simple as this is becoming a big pain in the ass. Okay, now there is Slow Boat to China on the Zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Alright. Here's the switch. Those little tabs that you're seeing are upright. On the back of this, let me see if I can do this without knocking all these screws out of here. Only because I don't want to lose them. On the back of this, you have your contacts. Now these are not the contacts. That's just where you bolt on the power wire and attach, onto that. But those nibs are touching this. You can see the circle. Well, what's happening is when you're turning it, the nibs, those little nipples, dimples, whatever you want to call them, are kind of catching in between. Not totally isolating the system from one another. As we can see, this is isolated. They're not touching. But when this piece goes on there and you start to turn it, and as I'm turning it this way, this one's supposed to be disconnected, and this one's supposed to be connected. But as you can see, this one is touching that one a little bit. And I can't really take it off, because if I take off any of it, it's going to possibly not connect it all when I make the turn, because I haven't got that much room. Now I was thinking of possibly taking off some of this side on a larger one. Sorry guys. On both ends. But then I don't know if it goes to turn, will it turn enough to make the connection? But see, that's not going to do it anyway, because it's going this side, so it's not that it's really going to help. So that's the problem here. Let me get these screws out. I was trying to save them so I don't lose them, but I'll just do that. Screw it. Yeah, that's what's going on. When this thing turns, it's not totally disengaging this. All three of these are connected, which means if I had two batteries, both batteries would be connected to the post. Now if I turn this way to where I'm supposedly eliminating this one and this one's supposed to be connected. Now I got that straight, pretty well straight in there. But if you notice, this one here is actually touching. Well, you can't see it. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't see it, but I can see it. It's touching down there. And if I try to cut any of this, I won't have enough. I mean, it's that close. See, now this has got a little offcut, like a bevel. If you can see it, it's not perfectly straight. See what I mean? See how it comes in a little bit, then you got that little nibble there, and then it comes around. But see, this can only go in here one way because of the shaft on the switch is only made to fit it one way. So I can't even put this on another way if I wanted to. So somewhere along the line this switch is no good. Alright. So this switch must be defective from day one. Oh, a little stink bug. You know, Matt's got the squirrel, Sean had the squirrel, Matt's got cats and dogs, I have dogs. And I got a fucking stink bug right here. See this guy? Oh, you can't see him, he's over here. Over there, a little stink bug. There's one of them. I know there's probably more around, but this one follows me. If I go over to the bench now, he will fly over there and sit there just like he's sitting here, watching me. Bugs. Excuse me? A stink bug. Well, that jumped right out of there. He was on the computer monitor before, walking across the top, watching me. I'd rather have the squirrels, cats, dogs. No, I got stink bugs for pets. So anyway, let me zoom back out here if I can. These things take forever. I don't know why it's so damn slow. Sorry, guys. Alright, so that's where we're at. So now, what I'm doing is rewiring this whole bench. One wire at a time, one ground at a time, one thing at a time. I've got my light hooked up over here, so if I do anything, right here underneath all this, right here. And what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to take a piece of this starboard and I'm just going to make a throw switch. I'll put one here, positive here, chunk, chunk. That's all there is to it. It's plain and simple. I actually ordered a couple of the double pull, double throw knife switches, if you know what I'm talking about. It kind of, it's not like on a box. They used to use them for TV antennas at one time. And then you have your little thing here, and you have your connectors here and here. And then you have that little piece that comes up with the handle on it. And then it goes down. So you can either toggle it this way into here, or toggle it back this way into here. It's called the double pull, double throw knife switch. I ordered a couple, but they're talking at least a week to 10 days to get here. It's faster just to do what we got to do. Can you see my pet over here? I don't know if you can see him or not. So, anyway, until they come in, I'll just make one. And if it comes in and this works fine, I'll just have spare parts. That's all.